Good evening, friends. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Market starts from tomorrow. We are down to our second part of the Dow theory, as I promised. Now, what will happen is we will go to just one tenet of the Dow theory today. So, before we start, we will just go through one line which we did earlier. That is, prices do not go up in a straight line, they move in a zigzag fashion. So we saw in the Dow theory then when prices were going up or going down, it was never in a straight line, and we also know this. एक तरफा कभी नहीं आता, right? So in order to do this, we just need to learn some very basic terms like higher highs or peak is HH, lower high is LH, higher low is HL, lower low is trough. And before I get into the whole chapter, kindly understand that this is not something I have made up or I have invented. This has been there for the last 100 years. I have used two textbooks of our field. One is Technical Analysis of Stock Trends by Edwards and Magee, chapters 3, 4, and 5. And the second one is Technical Analysis Explained by Martin Pring. These two books give you a very good grounding of Dow theory and also the peak and trough analysis. Peak is basically a top and trough is basically a bottom. In Dow theory lingo, we call them peak and trough analysis. So before we proceed any further, just a simple idea what we studied the previous day, and we will only study this point of the Dow theory, that is the free trend market. Now Dow theory uses trend analysis, we know this. It's in a direction, fine. Just focus on the last line. The market will rally up to a high peak and then sell off to a low trough, but will generally move in one direction. Now I explained this the previous day with the help of a C wave and stuff. So if you haven't seen this point clearly, kindly go back and see the Dow theory video. It is totally explained there. So this particular point is what we'll be concentrating on now, that is which side the market is moving from a price point, and which price if it crosses we can consider that a bull trend has resumed, which price if it breaks we consider that a bear trend has come on, and so on. Now before I do this, I'll be using two techniques in this whole particular presentation. You must know that term, that is BC and AD. 2000 years BC, 1000 year AD. BC is obviously before Christ, before the birth of Christ, and AD is Anno Domini. In Latin it probably means in the year of our Lord, that is from the year Jesus Christ was born. Similarly, in technical analysis we have BC and AC. BC is before computers, AC is after computers. So the first technique which you are going to see was used in 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, when computers were not available to traders. They used to draw charts by hand on chart paper and understand where the trend was going through. Next, after the advent of computers, moreover after 1980 around, you will see an indicator which got introduced and which helps us to pick up this peak and trough in a much easier manner. But first, the major classical theory of peak and trough. This particular picture, if you see, is a rising peak and a rising trough. That is, the tops are getting higher, the bottoms, the lows are getting higher. So this is higher highs, HH, and higher lows. Now during a bull trend, a rally is interrupted by a correction. See, this trend is bullish, but whenever there's a rally, there's also a small correction in which a part of the move is retraced. This is followed by another rally and another correction. This goes on. These are the peak and trough. As long as a particular trend witnesses a series of higher peak and higher trough, the bull trend is intact, correct? But whenever it is replaced by a place where the high gets lower, the peak gets lower, the bottoms also get lower. If you see this particular point, this high is lower than this high, lower high, this low is lower than this low, so this is a lower low. So now the sequence of rising peaks and troughs has been changed to falling peaks and troughs, lower peak, lower trough. So a bull market changes into a bear market. Now, as we understood the previous day, a primary trend can be of three types: a bull, a bear, and basically a range bound market, which in Dow theory we call line or channels. If we see this particular picture, the first part we had up, next we had down, then we had a kind of line in Dow theory parlance, which basically means market was basically roaming around a particular place. Now there also, if you see this, this point D and point D, E is higher than D, F is higher than C. So again higher high and higher low, rising peak, rising trough has been established. Now a bull move starts, correct? So even within a trading range, if you see higher highs and higher lows are getting formed, that means a bull move is about to start. Similarly, this is basically kind of when a bear move changes, a bull move changes. That is after a series of rising peaks and rising trough, series of lower peak and lower trough assumes starts. So then we consider that a bear move has started. Now this is a very interesting point. It is called a half signal. Watch this picture carefully. We have a series of higher highs and higher lows, rising peak, rising trough. See this point X where the price has made a lower low, correct? So is the bull move under threat? No, because we have a lower low, lower trough, but the peak is not lower. You say this? We already have a higher peak than the previous one. We have a lower low than the previous one. So the bull move has totally not changed. Then the market goes up to here. This becomes another higher peak, comes bit here. This low is not broken, goes up and a new high gets made. So this is a half signal where a lower trough occurs, but subsequently the high is taken out. Alert for a downtrend is cancelled. So a half signal is basically an alert. It is not reliable or it is not a signal you can trade. But whenever a half signal appears, you should be alert that the trend might end here. So we can have a clean uptrend, clean downtrend and a half signal. This whole theory is coming from Dow. Another one is, as we said, that in Dow parlance we have something called a consolidation or a line. That is after a market goes up, rising peak, rising trough, it could just kind of hover in a particular place, correct? If it hovers in a particular place in which the time spent is more than 1/3 of this time, to 2/3 of this time, that is say from this start to here took 3 months, correct? Then the stock or the index was in a range for the at least for the next 1 month. If it happens that it is in range for the next 1 month to 2 months, 1/3 to 2/3, remember? So if this move is 3 months, this range must be minimum 1 month to a maximum of 2 months. Then we forget this previous low or this high and we take the range high and range low. Those become my current peak and trough. So if those get broken, again lower high, lower low or higher high, higher low, that particular thing gets into place. So Dow theory more than price, other than price, also have an element of time, which is if a market is within a trading range of 1/3 to 2/3 of the time of the prior move, then we consider those highs of the range and those lows of the range as my new peak and trough, new top and bottom, correct? So this is how basically a trading range gets formed and this is how we use time. Lastly, retracement. I was showing you market was going up, market was coming down, market was going up, market was coming down. So how far coming down would be considered to be a valid retracement? Dow had a very simple logic. Retracement should be 1/3 to 2/3 of the previous advance. That is, if the market from here has gone up to here, this one should be at least 1/3, 33% of this move till 2/3 of this move. If it is more than that, then the trend has probably changed. Then you do not consider that, okay, now again it will begin. But till 1/3 to 2/3, it is considered a valid retracement. At least minimum 1/3 will be there, maximum 2/3 should be there. So this is a classic retracement according to Dow. That was the theory. Now what I've done is I have posted a chart of Nifty futures. This is 2017. Reading the theory, you might have thought it never happens in a real market, but it does happen. Here what I've done is I have marked the peaks with 1, blue color, mark the bottoms with 2, red color. If you see the chart carefully, you will see all the ones, each and every one is higher than the previous one. So the peaks are getting higher, rising peaks. If you see the point 2, which is the bottom or the trough, each bottom is higher than the previous bottom. So rising trough. So what we have out here is a series of rising peaks and rising trough, correct? So this is a bull market. Opposite is true. This is the last half of 2017. You will see where it is falling trough, each bottom is lower than the previous one, each peak is lower than the previous one. So this is a bear market. Now, whenever you see rising peak and rising trough, if you have noticed these two charts, I am using line charts, not candlestick, not bar, not anything. So if you are going to do Dow theory, the biggest focus of Dow theory is on close, and a line chart is constructed with closing prices. So you will always use a line chart if you are trying to use a Dow theory and understand what is the market structure, whether it's bullish, whether it's bearish, whether it's range bound and stuff. Clear? Now see the whole picture. This is something like end of 2016 to 2017 to 2018. If you see the first part, this was a bear market where we had a series of falling peaks and troughs. Then we had a kind of a trading range. This high was broken, this high, the peak. We had a series of rising peak and rising trough. That one got broken here. We again had a falling peak and falling trough. So this was again a bear market, right? So this is how the market operates. What we have learned till now in one sheet: price trends are never in straight line one-way moves. They consist of a series of rallies and corrections, correct? It happens in end of day, happens on monthly charts, happens on real-time charts, 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute. Anywhere you see, you will see this pattern. Number two, downtrends are signaled when a series of higher high, higher low changes to lower high, lower low. That is, a series of rising peak, rising trough changes to a series of falling peak and falling trough. Uptrends are signaled when a series of lower high, lower low changes to higher high, higher lows. 4. The first sign of a trend change can come from a half signal. I have explained half signal. Half signals are not as reliable but act as a warning sign. 5. Peak trough validity. A move must retrace a minimum of 1/3 to a maximum of 2/3 of the previous move. A smaller retracement is valid provided it takes 1/3 to 2/3 of the time of the previous move. So we should either have a price correction or a time correction for a retracement to be valid. Understand this very carefully. Sometimes it will be price. If we do not get a price correction, then wait for a time correction. Any of this, if it fulfills, then your peak trough validity, whatever series is getting made, you can make that. Last point, the peak and trough formed over a longer time is more reliable than a peak and trough formed in a shorter time. Say for example, a high low it's getting constructed every 20-30 days, correct? Another high low is getting constructed every 5 days. So the one which is of 30 days is much more reliable than one which is getting constructed in 5 days. Now whether 5, whether 30, this number is never absolute. Short is relative to long, there is no specific time frame. So whether 30 days is longer, whether 50 days is longer, that is immaterial. You have to always compare that with a shorter time frame and see which is the longer time frame. I will take that into account. So whichever longer time frame peak and trough comes in front of you, you will take that as your major factor. Okay, this actually covers peak and trough analysis as taught by Dow. Now let us see a chart and see a problem which occurs. I will open the Nifty 50 chart, and what I will do out here is forget the current chart. Let us take this place. This is a perfect example. We know after this the market went up, correct? If I ask you out here, this particular place, whether the market is going up or down, many people will give many answers, because if you see, this is a high, this is a low, sorry, this is a high, this is a high, this is a low, high breaks, low breaks, again high breaks, makes a low, high does not break, low does not break, high does not break, low down does not break, then this high breaks, then this low also breaks, right? Then again this high breaks. So if I try to construct I will say, okay, this is a low, we start, say this is a high, I say this is a high, then is this a low? This 1/3 doesn't get fulfilled, okay, then this goes up, so this is now a high. So now is this a valid low? Again this is a high. Now is this a low or is this a low? Is this a high? Is this a high? Is this a low? High, low, high, low, high. Is this another high? Is this a low? Is this a high? So what I'm trying to imply is, whenever you try to find high and low through chart gazing, that is like in 1930s and 40s, it's not that you cannot do that, but number one, initially you will get confused, and it will probably take quite a few months to prepare your eye to understand which is a correct high and a correct low. And as I said in today's Twitter thread, we are living in times where we have very less time, number one, and number two, we want to understand everything fast. But more than that, we now have a computer at our disposal which can help us in a big way. So what I'm going to do now is change the chart to candlesticks or bar, whatever you like, and I'm going to introduce an indicator. So if you go to Investopedia, you will find an indicator called zigzag indicator. A zigzag indicator plots points on the chart whenever prices reverse by a percentage greater than the pre-chosen variable. Straight lines are then drawn connecting these points. The indicator is used to help identify price trends. Abracadabra, blah blah, everything is written there. You can go to this, just do zigzag indicator search on Google, you will reach Investopedia. If you want the formula, this is the formula and stuff. How to use a zigzag, everything is there. So let's get down to practicals. What you do is, in Metastock, you have an indicator called zigzag. I guess you have this in all charting softwares. It is not unique to Metastock. So what you do is, you draw zigzag. It will ask you a parameter. Now price field, it can give you any price field. Start with close. See, I give a price field of 5%. 5% means, keep it in percentage, okay? So whenever the price is moving by 5%, I'm trying to pick up the swing highs and swing lows. Let us see what happens. See. It is picking up very high swing highs and swing lows, very long term. Bull market is signal, but as we know, these swings cannot be traded. Let us do an experiment with 4%. I will give you the exact answer on Nifty, just bear with me. Okay, this is catching a bit more highs and lows, but then also pretty longish moves, right? Even if you see the current market, pretty longish moves. Now let us reduce this to 3%. In Nifty, actually, if you're use a 3% zigzag. Now this will change according to stock to stock. Now see what happens in this particular zone which I marked. We were here, right? What is happening out here? This is a low, this is a high, correct? Okay, forget the lines. It's easier to explain if I use this. Yeah. This is a low, this is a high. This is a low, this is a high. If you can see, you already have a higher high, higher low. You see this? This low is higher, this high is higher. This is a low, this is a high, correct? So you have a sequence of higher highs. Understand this. Till here, you have a sequence of higher lows also. So this is definitely a bullish kind of move which is going on here. Now comes the funny part. This low gets broken. Is the high, is a lower high? No. There is no lower high. There is only a lower low, which means this is a half signal. A half signal means you will be on alert, but this is not a sell signal. A half signal is basically given by the market to kick out the stops. Any person who got long around here, see what happened was, these were the highs, correct? This is where people went long. They would have a stop at a swing low, this one. Operator आया, झाड़ू मार के सबका stop लेके गया, right? Then the market moves. So after the half signal, see what happens to the market then. Then the rise comes. So within this particular zone, what has happened is, a peak and trough analysis identified very clearly that this was a bullish structure. This was not a distribution structure. This was not a bearish structure. But even in a consolidation, that was a bullish structure which was getting formed. Correct? Let us proceed. I want to show you the current status of the market which is going on, because past everybody can show, right? I can show in the past and show you. Okay, one more point about zigzag. Whenever you using a zigzag indicator, remember the last point which is there and where it is running, this will change according to price. For example, if tomorrow Nifty falls by 600 points, you will see this particular line come down like this. This will not be there. If the Nifty goes up, then this line will go up. But this point can change. So whenever you are using a zigzag, remember this point very carefully, that this indicator will change with price. And this indicator forms the basis of all Elliott wave and Gann softwares, where you see the wave counts changing as prices change. There's a very small trick to get out of this problem. Point is, never believe the last signal. That is, whatever the last signal is showing you, don't believe that for a fact. Always analyze from the previous signal, because this signal will not change. See, here what can happen. Either this will go down, in that case, this particular line will go down, correct? Or this will go up, then this will go up. This point will not change. So a point on the zigzag, one point before the current low or high, whether low or high, whatever is the last one, just ignore it. Concentrate on the previous one. And when you are concentrating on the previous one, see what is the structure there. Now let us see the structure. We had a bear market, fine. Now what is happening out here? This is a high, this is a low. 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 This is a high, half signal. See? See this? This I showed you in 2017. Market makes a high, people get long. This was the stimulus declared by Modi ji. Comes out, operator jhadu maar ke sabka stop le gaya, and the price starts running. Structure is still bullish on a very short term time frame. Structure is not massively bearish if you are working on a 3% zigzag, correct? How do I trade this? Now watch something even more spectacular which is going on in Nifty. Forget the zigzag for a second and focus on this. This is a classic Dow line, that is a trading range. I am totally ignoring this bar because of the euphoria led by that particular thing. Otherwise, this was the euphoria, this was the short run, but majority of the time basically Nifty is within this range. So what I see out here is, actually I've studied this 95.50. If you see this 95.50, and if market crosses this particular point, this half signal kind of, this signal I am ignoring, but if this high and this particular bar, these two highs are crossed, structure is already bullish, half signal will be negated, and market is probably going to run forward. Now if we go back to what, see, a person cannot just trade on peak and trough, okay? So I'll be just using things which I've already taught you. I've already taught you trend lines, correct? Nifty has a trend line. You might say there is no third point here. Now focus on the chart. What you have out here is a price cluster. What I told you is a cluster is as good as a point. So point 1, point 2, point 3, valid trend line, we have run up. When a trend line breakout is coming, you can kind of, this is a triangle breakout also which is taking place. So if you are following these theories, this move up above 95.50. Now remember, Dow theory works on close. We need to close above 95.50 on NSE Nifty futures. I will always show you futures chart. I don't trade cash, I don't see cash. So if above 95.50, if we get a close, market can have a melt up run up to 10,050 around, or 10,100 around. So this is the view on the Nifty chart. Now when you are going to trade this, use something simple. Now that was the Nifty EOD chart. Here what I want you to focus upon is, where did I first have a higher high and higher low, right? I first had a higher high and higher low somewhere around low, this is a lower, higher low, not a higher high, higher high, higher low, okay. around this place. See, highs are higher, lows are also higher. So basically we have a rising peak and rising trough. When this high gets crossed on this day, that is somewhere around 24th April, I can say that okay, now the market has changed for the upside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to real time data. And I'm going to mark 24th April. Now when I'm doing this chart on real time, what I've done is I'm using hourly bars. Less than that, there's a lot of noise. Don't use 15-minute, 5-minute, doesn't work. Your high and lows will get triggered every 20 minutes. Use an hourly chart. So when you're using an hourly chart on a daily basis, a 1% move is enough reversal, correct? If you give 3%, you will get very less signals. That's EOD. Keep a 1% reversal on EOD hourly charts. What happens out here is, if you see the hourly chart, you can see a series of rising bottom, rising peaks. This is a lower peak, but again higher bottom also, correct? So when you see out here that the market is giving you a rising peak and trough, now comes the most beauty of a zigzag. If you are into patterns like triangles, head and shoulders and stuff, a zigzag will help you draw patterns. You don't have to see the patterns. See, I'm just joining the previous two highs. Fair enough. This is a triangle. Here you had the breakout. On this line, on this day, on your EOD basis, you have a bullish up move, which is suggested by the peak and trough. Your hourly chart is suggesting a bullish up move, and see the support on the triangle. You have a triangle breakout which is there. A triangle gets its target from here. So this breakout will have a target around here. The same target which I drew on real-time charts of now, the same method. So here you can say, okay, I will buy out here. Nifty future is something like 9,300. Your stop loss will be this swing low, which is something around 900, 115. You have a target of 9740. So this is how peak and trough analysis is traded. This was an example on Nifty. Let me show you some examples very fast. Something which I am observing now. One of them is, okay, this is HDFC 1 month. This was a trend line breakout which I showed it to you. Let's do a simple 3% zigzag on HDFC. If you can see this, so if it crosses this and makes a lower low, this will move up. Not HDFC, I was trying to show something else. Okay, bank index. No, bank index was also a trend line which I'm going to show. Okay, I will show you a trade of mine. Chalo. In fact, I'm already in this trade. That should be a disclaimer, right? You will understand one more point, that is how a very long-term peak and trough is interesting. Okay, so this is basically ITC. Let's use a 3% zigzag and see what's happening to ITC. ITC was making a series. When I forecasted ITC will fall, if you see this particular place, see this place, boss. Forget this, boss. Lower peaks, lower trough. So even before this fall, peak and trough analysis told you that this is going to fall. And I can draw a very beautiful kind of triangle out here, right? Okay, then ITC fell, lower peak, lower trough continued. This was your first higher bottom, higher trough, higher low. This high is still not above this, correct? It makes a high, comes down, makes a higher low, fine. Then makes a higher high. So here I can say, now we have a series of higher highs and higher lows. Achha, zigzag is probably getting done from lows. Wait. Yeah. Now we have a series of higher highs and higher lows, correct? So now if I am looking at ITC, I need to buy above these highs. What was this high? This bar's close was 189.55. Okay, now there's a very interesting thing going on out here. See this particular point. This bar had a high of 93.90, a low of 83.20, closing of 89.55. Next bar low is 87.40. Third bar low is 189.10. Never closed above 190, correct? 189.55 was the high. Now see this. This went up here in a single day. There was a lot of consolidation out here. Why is this consolidation out here? Because people who have got stuck here, previous time, remember, all value investors were jumping into ITC. These people now will say, boss, after 190 I have seen 155, 160 also. Now let me get out. So it is absorbing this particular supply out here. And when this is supply is absorbed, now see it has already made a very clear rising peak, rising trough structure, and this price is already quoting above the previous peak. When it is quoting above the previous peak, this is supposed to go up. So what I am expecting on ITC is, ITC from here came down to here, went up to here. Now I am using something which is not basically kind of a pattern, but you can see if you are into patterns, this is going outside your course, outside the topic. This is kind of a flag. I don't know whether you can see this. Okay, even if you see a flag, change the chart to line. Right? Change it back to candlesticks, easier to see, I guess. Now if ITC runs, move started from here. So this was your flag distance. We should go up to somewhere around 220. Now what I normally do is, if there's such a big target, I normally make a 50% target of that. So as of now, ITC from 193, I'm expecting an immediate boom next week to 207. And if 207 gets crossed, I'm expecting a move up to 223. This is how I'm seeing ITC. The base comes from a peak trough analysis, then I'm using patterns, then I'm using targeting and stuff. Now, if I'm buying at somewhere around 193, this one is a very beautiful stop loss of mine. Just the low of this bar by closing. This low is like 187. So if it closes below 187, I will get out. I can take a naked 190 call. I can do a call spread. I can do a hell of a different structures in options if I'm going to trade this. So this is how I am following one of the trades from a peak and trough structure. Let us finish up with bank index. Yeah. Using the same 3% zigzag. Now remember, using 3% on indices, if you are using a stock, this number will change based on volatility. If it's a very volatile stock like India Bulls, use 10%. If it's a very low volatile, say like, what is low volatile now? Nothing probably. Use a lower figure. So what Bank Nifty is doing is, the Bank Nifty structure, Bank Nifty is a bit more volatile. I will just increase this because this is too close, right? I don't want such, this cannot be very important peak and trough so close. Let me increase it to 5%. Now, interestingly, Bank Nifty does not have a kind of a higher, it was making a higher high, higher peak, higher trough kind of structure, but this one got decisively broken out here. Okay, not just this low also got hit. We don't still have another higher high. So if you want to buy Bank Nifty, you have to kind of wait till here. You can't buy actually now. So Bank Nifty structure is not telling you something major is going on, because that range which was getting traded got resolved on the downside. So Nifty is probably going to outperform Bank Nifty in the very near term in the next 15 days. That's what these two charts tell me. If I go down to a real time chart, let us go to Bank Nifty real time. And let us just, what have I drawn here anyway? Something which I have drawn something which I was probably trading. So no, let us skip this. I was probably trying to draw something. Okay, and let's do this 1%. Okay. So this is how Bank Nifty is moving over the past few days. We had a series of okay, forget the lines. I drew the lines for something else. Okay, we had a series of lower peak, lower trough. I want you to concentrate on this place. These peaks were lower till here, right? These lows were also till here. Now concentrate here. This is hourly charts or that was causing the problem. Sorry. Yeah, now it's okay. So your last high was this, last low was this, correct? You had a lower high and a higher low, and a beautiful triangle got made. Now zigzag will help you draw this. So this breakout, if you buy with a risk, this can be your low. Now, as of now, on Bank Nifty also on hourly charts, higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. So this structure is also positive. So Bank Nifty also, if it crosses this by closing on an hourly basis, which is something like 19,400, you can expect a run up to the upside. Right? If you buy above 19,400 on hourly charts, your stop loss will be here, which is something like 18,800. Now this is an hourly, so obviously you have to have a 600 point stop loss on Bank Nifty because you're playing for like 1200, 1500 points. So this is how you see peaks and troughs, etc. Now, like you will not use moving average as an indicator on its own, correct? Similarly, trend line or peak and trough are not used on their own. They are used along with open interest, along with RSI, along with moving averages. So you use more moving indicators in order to understand how this peak and trough is going to play out. The more indicators you use, the more this picture scenario will become. But peak and trough forms the very basis of our subject of technical analysis. Unless you understand peak and trough, you will not understand the context of the market. Whether the context of the market is bullish, structure is bearish. If structure is bearish, your indicator systems, they are giving buys and sells, take only the buys. If the structure is bearish, your systems are giving you sells, take only the sells. But understanding the structure to peak and trough is absolutely essential, and it is coming from classical Dow theory. I have given the list of name of 2 books with chapters in the first 2-3 slides. So just go to the first minute and see those slides. You will see this particular where I am drawing this from. I have just kind of taken their knowledge and I am disseminating it. Okay, so this is how it functions. Now a small announcement. Point is, when I was showing this trend lines and Dow theory and stuff, a lot of people told me ki I got a lot of DMs on Twitter and a lot of kind of responses on email also. That's why you're showing this. These are basics. These are very good. Our knowledge is increasing fine. Could you just show us something which works fast in a real time? We are very interested on the trend line part, but when we try to draw trend lines and try to see which one will break and which one will not, we get confused. Now, if you're following the trend line webinar, the trend line YouTube video, I gave you 3-4 charts last week. What I told was on Bank Nifty, just give me a moment. On Bank Nifty, I drew a trend line like this. I did post this on Twitter and asked that dangal hoga 800 to 1000 points. Now this was the trend line, and when I was, the day I said this, I was standing here. So what people told me was, how did you understand that this will go up 1000 points? In fact, in a group in my students, I told them it's on upside, it's a pure bullish breakout. So there's a small trick to identify this. This is one trick which I will explain, not here. Just wait till next 2 minutes. Number one, I showed you another chart. This I gave a clear call. This was HDFC. Forget the zigzag. Okay, I drew the trend line like this and I got a few questions. The questions were like, how do you assume that this is not a correct breakout or this is not a correct breakout? Okay, Okay, on the line chart, what you actually saw was there is no touch on this point. See, got it? But if you change the chart, you will see the touch. And then people ask me, here you told that HDFC Bank will go up in a large way, but I bought it here and I got trapped. So how can you be sure that here it will go up? Here also there's a small trick which can explain that this breakout is going to be fantastically successful. The last trade which I showed was a bearish trade. I deliberately did this because if the market goes up, you might say, sir, sab to bullish dikhaya tha. Okay, what I showed was a trade like this. This was Bharti Airtel. I asked a question. So this was kind of the trend line drawn on the line chart, and on bar charts you saw this. I said यहाँ से कहाँ जाएगा, ऊपर या नीचे. Now this was supposed to go down, and I will also make a prediction out here. Be careful about this. This bar's low, 536. This move at 536, it can peter out. It can go till 536, go up from here, whatever. But if Bharti Airtel closes below 536, whatever fundamental news if here in the market, forget it and dump the stock. It will go down in a big way. I will show it why. Now explaining this is not possible on YouTube, and I won't, because as of now I was explaining concepts which are very easily available in public domain. It's very general knowledge in books. I have referred books, and I don't charge when I'm teaching something which I have not invented. What I'm going to show in a small webinar, this will be a paid webinar, is going to be paid. Now even in paid webinar, what I get is, sir, we want to learn from you, but your charges are very high, number one. And the number question is, we have a very low trading capital of 50,000, 1 lakh and stuff. I understand this. So this is going to be a webinar next weekend on Saturday, that quantifying breakouts, how you can quantify any breakout, whether it will go up and down. It can be a trend line breakout, a support resistance breakout, a pattern breakout, triangle breakout, moving average breakout, whatever. So any breakout, I will show you how can a breakout be traded with conviction, which indicators or techniques help and how. And I will show you a very interesting quant technique, that when an absolute top or an absolute bottom is identified, and when that breakout or breakdown takes place, it will take around 1 to 1.5 hours. I guess I will be able to finish it in 1.5 hours. Now due to, I have done webinars, and what I've seen is a lot of people start asking a lot of absurd questions within the webinar. So what I will do is, I will shoot this webinar one day ahead, and I will post this video individually to people who are going to subscribe to this particular webinar. This will be distributed through Google Drives, not on YouTube. So I will upload this on my Google Drive, and I will give you permission to your Gmail ID if you have subscribed to this webinar. I believe 1.5 hours, I'm charging 2360. Charges are 2000, GST is rupees 360. If you go to the payment link, if you go to the page, you will see a payment link. When you go to the payment link, there will be a place where you need to fill up your GST details if you have a GST ID. If you don't, just fill up the state and get out. So I'm getting 2360 is GST. And if you have done my previous webinars, whether on eLearn Markets, whether the free webinar at Chart Summit, you understand that when I charge, I do not teach something which is useless. I do teach which will help you progress as a trader. And the second point which I believe is, this is very interesting. See, when I teach on my webinars, I have distributed videos of those webinars, correct? Those are probably 16 hours of videos to the participants. Now, it also gets played over the net. What I see is, those 16 hours videos, if a person starts to watch, they watch 95%, 96% of those videos. I have already posted 2 videos on YouTube. 25 to 30 minutes I am putting my efforts with everything. You know what percentage of the video is watched? 5%. People are watching 5% or fast forwarding and getting out, which means free does not have value. It focuses on my. If people even paid 100 rupees for that webinar, people would have thought, boss, paisa वसूलना है. तो ये वसूलने का पैसा जो है, that is 2000 for your benefit. Once you pay 2000, you will focus very well. You will see 1.5 to 2 hours what I am talking about. You will see my examples. You will take a trade. You can earn back that money. But this lesson will go into your head since you are paying. That's how the human brain operates, I guess. Even mine. If I see free webinars, I lose my interest. But when I'm paying for a webinar in a technical topic, some quantitative techniques or whatever, arey boss, I have given money, so I should make as much as I like. So this was the whole thing. Go through the video. I have explained the major points. If possible, I will post a few examples in the coming week what I'm expecting. I've given you my market view, given you a stock view. I hope this is enough. Thank you. Bye.